Hello everyone and welcome to another wicked gameplay episode. Today we're going to be looking at something a little bit special, something that's just coming out for X-Plane actually. It's called the Reality Expansion Pack by Simcoders. Now Claudio from Simcoders was kind enough to actually give me a beta version. I think this is going to be released very shortly once it's just been finally tested, but I believe it will be released within a couple of days, maybe even sooner than this video. So as you'll see, we're here at, what airport was this? This is actually the Sandspit. Oops, I just dropped my iPad. The Sandspit, which is Charlie Yankee Zulu Papa, and it's part of the inside package, the inside passage for X-Plane. This is part of the inside passage package. That's a bit of a tongue twister. That is done for X-Plane and has quite a few airports. I just got this recently as well, so I thought this would be a nice little place to start. But we're going to be looking at the Centurion here. Let's just jump over and have a little look. And I have some battery power here, which I didn't actually want on. Okay, so here we are. We're looking at the Centurion. I haven't actually featured this on the channel either. So that's kind of a little new thing that we're going to be looking at. Although we're not going to be doing any short trips today. We're just going to be looking at the features since Claudio was kind enough to give me a copy of the Reality Expansion Pack for this particular aircraft. Now the way I believe these work is it's aircraft specific. You need this aircraft, then you purchase the pack to suit it. And what does it actually do? Basically, it improves on the existing aircraft and also some aspects of X-Plane as well. So what they've got here is like realistic airplane system, ultra realistic flight dynamics. So they've customized some of the X-Plane flight dynamics as well. They've got a weight and balance tool. They have a living airplane. So this is means that the aircraft will save its state from flight to flight. So if you damage it, it'll still be damaged. The battery will go flat, all those types of things, which is pretty cool. A maintenance tool, so it's kind of like a maintenance hangar where you can fix up the aircraft. Realistic sound sets, so it definitely has some nicer sounds than the default. You can see here the operating manual just pops up. And damages system, so if you break something, it will actually damage. If you over rev it, it will damage. If you do all those things that can break the aircraft, it will break it. Starting it with the avionics on, something I frequently do because I've often said I don't follow a lot of the systems or the procedures because it doesn't really matter. You don't break anything, well, not with this expansion. It's really puts you on your toes and makes you follow the systems. Easy to flood your engine, all those sort of things. So we're going to be looking at all those. Where can we start? We're not going to be looking at the aircraft. I mean, we are as part of it, but we're going to have the plugins. We'll look at the Simcoders here, and you can see here we've got a settings tab, so we can turn this on and off. It's got the damages, so you can choose what features you actually want on. We're going to leave all these on as default. Simcoders here, weight and balance here. So this is going to provide, I haven't actually looked at this really specifically, but this is going to give you, affect the aircraft based on how you set this up rather than just adding fuel and weight. This is actually going to affect the center of gravity of the aircraft and how it handles. Although I haven't actually tested that, that's what it actually says in the documentation. So has a very specific center of gravity tool here. We're not really going to probably look at that today, but we're going to be looking at some of the other things. So we've got the hangar here. As you can see, my engine is broken. In some of my tests, yes, I did actually break a lot of things on this aircraft. So you can see here we've got the engine. It's got the engine models here. We can just click, you can see all the engine cylinders here are damaged. Click overhaul and we're back to normal. We've got the time for overhaul as well. We've got oil system, gives you the color of the oil, you can refill. It also has the starter. If you damage your starter or it stops working because you're overheating it, I guess. We've got the battery here, battery's connected. We recharge that. I guess this is if you're going to leave your aircraft. You'll disconnect your battery here. We can fix the avionics if you happen to start or turn off your engine with your avionics on. You will break the avionics. Got the oxygen system. I haven't really looked at that, and probably something we're not going to look at that at the moment, but I guess this is, if you're using oxygen, this is how much time, kind of simulating that, which is pretty cool. And then the landing gear, so hard landings are going to damage your landing gear. Excessive braking without, not allowing the aircraft to roll, and slow using some of the runway availability, is just going to affect your brakes. And then you got your left and right tires, I guess, if you damage those on landing as well. Maybe these are affected by wear and tear. I'm not 100% sure of that. So that's basically that. Now, I'll just quickly see if there's anything we need to check. So this is the latest version. That's all good. We've looked at the options there. Okay, one of the other things we didn't look at here yet was the knee board. So this is our operations manual. I think this is really cool. They've made this really nice. You can flick through. You've got all your manual here. It's a really nice little operations manual. You've got the emergency tab here. If you have engine failure during takeoff, etc., and you got some references here for takeoff speeds and all those sort of things. Pretty cool. And that's that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some comparisons between the standard Cessna 210 by Carenado and then the Reality Expansion Pack here. So what I might do is stop right now, and we'll load up the default Cessna with the without the Reality XP Expansion Pack, and we'll see what that's like. Okay, so I've loaded the default Cessna Centurion, the CT210, and you can see it all looks the same. It all doesn't actually function the same though in terms of the way it goes. So let's have a little look inside here. As you can see, this has already got the avionics on, and let's just turn that off here. We've got the avionics switch. Let's have a little listen. The default standard sort of sounds you're going to get with the Carenado aircraft. Can't hear anything with the fuel pumps. Let's just have a look at my throttles here. Give it full mixture. We'll give it a bit of fuel here. We've got our fuel tank is on left hand. That's cool. Do we have fuel? Yeah, we've got plenty of fuel. Okay. All pretty simple stuff. Let's fire up the engine. As you can see, very easy to start. No real dramas there. No problems. Fuel mixture is rich. Really easy. No problems. Basic. Doesn't matter. Turn the avionics on. Shut the engine down. No problem. Avionics don't get affected. As you can see here. Let's try that again. Okay. Now, let's rev this up. You can see the manifold pressure here. It's fine. You can leave it here, I guess, as long as you want. I don't know if they've simulated this to explode, but as you can see, that's nothing's gonna happen. Okay. Let's jump back into the Reality XP and have a little look. Kill the engine. Oh, so they have got a little bit of compression sort of test there. Let's have a quick look at that again. Why isn't that working? Oh, I've got to have my fuel further up, that's why. So if we look outside, that's an interesting sound. Fuel's off. Okay. That's interesting. That's a strange sound. I don't think that's how it sounds like, surely. Anyway, let's jump over to Reality XP and see how this looks. Okay, so we're back in the Reality XP enabled version of the Carenado CT210 Centurion. And it looks the same, obviously. We jump in the cockpit and we'll have a little look how this is different. So we'll just hide these yokes. Let's have a little listen to the power on. You can hear that wind up. The avionics fans, I guess. Some sort of fan. I don't know exactly what that fan is because I'm not a real pilot. But it sounds really, really cool. Okay. Now, remember we actually turned on the pumps here. So we can actually power that up. We're going to see here the gauges have all been modified so they are more accurate. Let's set a beacon light on and a nav light on. And we have our fuel on the left tank. We have fuel. Avionics are off, and that's really important in this plane. And let's just get out our kneeboard up here for the start procedure. And this is all I'm really interested in doing, is the mixture should be rich. So I'll just reset make sure all these are working, which they are. Good. Now, mixture full rich, apparently. Prop, high RPM. Throttle, full forward. Auxiliary pump, on. So that's this yellow one. Fuel flow, wait for 60. And you can see here we've got this warning. Turn that off. What actually was supposed to happen here is when we turn this on, this fuel flow gets to 60. Maybe I've got that on for too long. Maybe it's just like 3 seconds. Maybe that's why it's flooded. I don't know. I'm still learning how to use this thing. But you can see here, it's giving us a warning, which is really cool. You can turn these warnings off. But now it's saying that we're flooded. So, I have to move my mixture back to cut off. Closed. Throttles closed. Propeller clear. Clear. And we're going to hit the ignition now. I don't know if this thing's going to start, but we'll see how she goes. And I just love the compression. The way you can see that compression in the prop. Let's jump outside and have a little look at that. Look at that. Look at that compression. I'm going to put my throttle to full. She does not want to start. So you can see, this is not the same as the Carenado default. I have had quite a few problems trying to start this plane at times, as you can see. So we'll turn our beacon and stuff on. Close the mixture, open the throttle, full. Let's close that. So we'll try and follow their instructions. Now this is a bit tricky. Try again. And you'll see if I continue to do this, I'm going to lift my mixture up a little bit. Oops. What did I do wrong? There you go. That's what happens when you don't follow the procedures. I didn't have my park brake on. Okay, let's try again. If we're not careful here, we'll create a vacuum issue. Vapor lock. I just want to show you, because it's a good enough excuse to do it right now, that if you continue to turn this, there we go, we can easily rev the engine. I've just increased my mixture. Got that. Okay, we've got the engine running. Want to check our gauges now. So you can see it's not a simple thing. We're looking at RPM here. It's around a bit over 1,000, 1,200. Got a bit of flex movement of that needle. Just going to increase my RPM. Maybe I can just increase my... That's all based on the mixture. Trying to increase my RPM, but it won't. My mixture. The mixture seems a little bit sensitive. Maybe that's why it's supposed to be. Not sure about that. You can see here we want to make sure this doesn't go over the 35, 36.5 manifold pressure. It will break the engine. What do we see here now? Cylinder head temperature is rising. Oil temperature slowly rising. We need to wait. We've got our EGT gauge over here. Suction. We've got to let this engine warm up for a little bit. What we also might do is just should have closed the cowl flaps. And I'm assuming that will allow the engine to warm a little quicker. See how oil temperature is rising? I love the way these gauges just move ever so subtly. Now, if you do sit around and get this cylinder head temperature too high, it will break the engine. So you need to keep an eye on that cylinder head temperature. This is not something you can just play around with and hope for the best. So I'm going to set my flaps. Flaps 1. We might make our way to the runway. Now, there probably is a certain period of time with this aircraft that maybe you are supposed to warm it up, but I'm going to start making my way to the runway. Now, you do need to use the differential braking, not just rudder pedals. Which way am I going here? Okay, so it looks like we're going to head this way. And we'll just take off and see what this is like up in the air. Now we are going to be looking at some of the things exploding, but I just want to show you what this is like in the air first. Probably should have some taxi and landing lights. Obviously that's not the correct process, but we're here to look at the expansion pack, not to follow procedures. Now that we've got the engine running, we can actually turn our avionics on. Back taxi down the runway. And it's really nice that you do have to monitor the gauges. It's a really different feeling, and I think the plane seems to fly, and it does say that it has some modified flight dynamics, and in the short period of time that I did fly this, it really was nice to fly. Although I haven't really tried the default one to make a comparison, but I really have to admit I did like it. Okay, try not to flood this engine. Let's get ourselves turned around here. Nice little part of the world. All good. Let's have a little look at, we're not going to do the run-up checks, although you could. Simcoders, let's have a look at this knee board here. So we also do have a, everything here that we need to check, and then there's the takeoff, before takeoff, parking brake, blah blah blah. Really nice, I really like this. So you can see wing flaps 0 to 10, power, no more than 36.5 inches, so that's around this yellow marker here, just on that red. If you do, there's a 20 and 2700 RPM, you got a 5-minute limit on that. Mixture adjust for 186 pounds per hour. So I'm assuming that is like up here, maximum. Climb speed is 80 to 90, brakes apply momentarily when airborne, retract when you climb out. I'm still getting used to this aircraft, so anyway, let's do that. I'll just take this out of my way. We've got a rough idea what we need to do here. Landing lights are on, pitot heat, strobes, keep people seeing us. I think that's all good. That'll do. That'll do for this trip. And we'll start to accelerate. Mixture's full rich. Start to accelerate. Keeping an eye on our manifold pressure. Didn't set my takeoff trim, but yeah, it should be good enough. Around 70 we can take off. It's really smooth. Gonna get gear up. Start to trim a little bit. Just trimming with my buttons. I might just open my cowl flaps down. Around 80 to 90 is climb speed. We also do have a little volume button just here. You can see our cylinder temperature's increasing. Gears up. Start to lean it off. So I guess I need to be looking at my EGT gauge. So lean that back down. So if we're looking at this gauge here, and I usually put it around the middle. And that seems to do the trick. That's leaned off. I can come back on my prop if I wanted to. And we're all good. So I'm going to come back shortly and we'll show you what this thing sounds like when we got some altitude. Okay, so we're back in the cockpit here, and you can hear the air that's rustling over the aircraft. And let's just see what happens when we move. You can see it has an effect, which is really cool. That's kind of cool. Also has backup attitude and altitude gauges. I didn't actually notice that before. Okay. And what I want to do here is show you what actually happens if I just that's a warning because I'm going too slow. Let's get that back up. We'll come back when I've got some more airspeed. And there you go, you can see I've over accelerated the engine. We've broken the avionics. Turn the avionics off. So you can see the warnings I've got here. Engine's failing. That warning is for our gear. I don't know if we'll make it back down, but you can see the prop there is just free spinning. Got a vapor lock. Is there any little runways around here? So as you can see, the engine's broken now. I don't know what the procedure is. I'll probably come back on the throttle. Where do we go? We need to pick somewhere to go. So that's cool, look at that. You can see the compression of the engine. So we've got an over voltage. And you know, we could continue on landing, but let's just see if we can repair this. You can actually repair it in air. You can see here we've broken the cylinders, so we can overhaul that. Battery, landing gear and all that's fine. And electrical and avionics, that seems we can fix that. So that gets rid of that warning. So we've got a vapor lock. Get some fuel pumping through. And we might just try and start this. Now we've done the repairs. No, it's flooded. Just come back on the throttle so we don't over rev the engine again, and as you can see we're back. We can turn our avionics back on and we're back in business. Back to normal. Okay, let's get back in for a landing. Okay, so we're just making our way back to the runway. Just trying to trim down a little bit. And do a visual approach. Get quite a bit of speed here, so slow our prop down. You can see the prop slowing down there. You get that warning when you're losing too much airspeed. High cylinder temperature. That's not good. Just open the cowl flaps. Oh, we've got a vapor lock. Get some fuel. Engine's flooded. As you can see, this thing is quite challenging. As you can see, we've stalled, we've broken the avionics again. This is not going to be good. Gonna do an emergency landing. You can see we've got a myriad of errors here. But it really is nice to fly. Well, a little bit of a bounce. Not good. There we go. So we're just going to let this roll a little bit. And then we'll start to apply some brakes. But you can see all the problems I started having because I'm not on my instruments. I'm not on my my game yet with this expansion pack. So you can see it's definitely going to add some challenge to your flying. It's really, really cool. I like it, and it definitely is going to add a bit of excitement to your flying, and it's not going to make it so simple as the default system. So it gives you a lot more to look for, a lot more to keep your eyes on. So that's kind of, I think, where I'm going to wrap this up. Let me know if you want to see some more of this. I'll probably do a flight with this once I've had a little bit more time to get used to the actual systems and how to actually use this properly. But it's pretty impressive, and I think you'll like it if you do have the Centurion. I actually went out and bought the Centurion just to use this, and I do really think it's pretty cool, and looking forward to seeing this on other particular aircraft. So tell me what you think. Let us know in the comments. Thanks to Claudio from Simcoders for letting me review this and have a quick look at it. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you on the next one. Catch you later.